The council chamber was a place where light itself seemed afraid to linger. Carved from obsidian mined from the heart of a dead star, its walls swallowed sound, swallowed warmth, swallowed courage. Here, every ruler, every warlord, every diplomat across the stars came to kneel before the one being they all feared, the Zetherian queen. She sat on a throne of living metal, her body wreathed in shadows that coiled and hissed like serpents. Her eyes burned with a terrible radiance, two suns of judgment, and when she spoke, galaxies trembled. Entire civilizations had perished with nothing more than a flick of her hand. Into this nightmare walked Captain Elias Ward, a human envoy. Compared to the insectoid generals and crystalline monarchs, he looked painfully ordinary. Thin, unshaven, his uniform wrinkled from the long voyage. But he carried something no other species truly understood. Humans weren't the strongest, nor the smartest, nor the oldest. Yet time and again they endured. They joked in foxholes. They laughed at the gallows. They cracked jokes in the dark because laughter was the only weapon left when all others failed. The doors closed behind Elias with a booming finality. The Queen's eyes locked onto him, and the galaxy held its breath. The Queen's voice cracked through the silence like thunder rolling across a dead world. Human. Your kind is insignificant. You will kneel. Earth will pay tribute, grain, soldiers' blood, or your star itself will burn in my name. The chamber vibrated with her command. Alien envoys, from insectoid warlords to amphibian monarchs, pressed their foreheads to the cold obsidian floor. None dared to meet her gaze except Elias Ward. His knees locked. His spine refused to bend. He was supposed to read the script his superiors had given him. A speech of submission, promises of obedience, desperate pleas for mercy. But when he looked up at her, he didn't see omnipotence. He saw fatigue, a hollow weight in her eyes, a predator who had long since grown bored of the hunt, and that's when the word slipped out. Guess interstellar tyranny runs on the same schedule as corporate HR meetings. The chamber froze. Every envoy snapped their heads toward him in horror. The insectoid general let out a sharp hiss. A crystalline monarch covered its face in despair. Guards lifted weapons, their tips glowing with lethal energy. The Queen tilted her head. Shadows coiled tighter like a storm preparing to strike. Elias braced for death. Then it happened. She laughed. It was deep, resonant, shattering, like stone cracking under impossible pressure. The sound rolled through the chamber, alien and yet unmistakably joyous. For the first time in living memory, the Zetherian Queen laughed in public. She rose, shadows receding, and pointed at him. Human, she said, voice tinged with something new. Curiosity. Step forward, speak, or die with a smile. Elias forced his feet to move. Each step toward the throne felt like walking into a black hole. The guard's eyes followed him, weapons humming with restrained power. Yet the Queen's laughter still echoed faintly in the chamber, like the ghost of something forbidden. You dare mock me, she said, her voice low, dangerous. Elias swallowed hard but forced a crooked smile. Mock? No, Your Majesty. Just commenting. Meetings are boring everywhere. Even for tyrants, gasps rippled through the assembly. Several alien envoys hissed in outrage. One dropped to the floor, whispering prayers. Yet the Queen only leaned forward, eyes glowing brighter. Strange. None have ever spoken to me so. Do you not fear death, human? Oh, I do, Elias admitted. But that's the point. Humans laugh when fear is strongest. It's not weakness, it's how we survive. The Queen's gaze sharpened. For her people, laughter was taboo. A sound tied only to disgrace or defeat. To show it was to surrender your dignity. Yet this human claimed it as a weapon, a shield. She tested him. First came illusions. His homeworld burning, oceans boiling, children screaming. Elias winced but muttered, Well, at least I won't have to worry about rent anymore. The Queen's lips twitched. Next, she ordered a mock execution, guards pressing spears to his throat. Elias smirked. Careful. My species invented sarcasm before metallurgy. This is nothing. The Queen's aura dimmed, curiosity overtaking menace. Around them, whispers grew. Her own court was unsettled. The Queen is softening, they muttered. She indulges the human. She is unfit, Elias noticed something deeper. When her laughter broke through, her mask slipped. For a heartbeat, she wasn't the unchallenged ruler of 1,000 systems. She was lonely. A monarch trapped by her own legend, surrounded by fear but never joy. and he realized his laughter wasn't just defiance. To her it was revelation. The coup came like a storm. During a private audience, the chamber doors burst open. Armored Zetherian loyalists marched in, weapons gleaming. Their leader's voice rang with venom. You laughed. You betrayed the ancient law. Fear keeps us strong. Without it, you are nothing but a pretender. The queen rose from her throne, shadows writhing violently. For an instant, Elias saw hesitation flicker in her eyes. To crush them with force would prove their point, that only terror held her empire together. To surrender would end her reign. Elias stepped forward before she could act. Wait. He raised his hands, voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. You're furious because she laughed? That's the best thing she's done in centuries. Maybe the only thing, the rebels snarled. One aimed a blade at his throat. Elias didn't flinch. You think fear is strength? Fear dies the second someone dares to mock it. But laughter? He glanced at the queen. Laughter spreads. It burns brighter than any shadow. The chamber stilled. The queen's gaze locked onto his. Slowly she began to laugh again. Not a small laugh, but a booming, thunderous sound that shook the walls. Her voice carried like fire. Then let it be law. Laughter is not weakness, it is strength. From this day my empire will endure not by silence, but by resilience. With a sweep of her hand, shadows surged not to kill, but to bind the rebels in chains of living darkness. They fell, not destroyed but disarmed. For the first time the queen had chosen something other than terror. The chamber stood in stunned silence. For centuries the queen's reign had been built on fear alone. Now she had rewritten her empire's law with a sound that once meant shame. Laughter. Delegates who had cowered only moments before now dared to raise their heads. Some with awe, some with confusion, but none could deny what they had witnessed. For Earth it was unprecedented. Elias Ward hadn't brought tribute or armies. He had brought humor. And through it he had won humanity, an alliance no warship could have secured. The galaxy itself felt different, changed forever. Later in the quiet of her private chamber, the queen regarded Elias with a strange smile. You've awakened something dangerous in me, human. Laughter is contagious, Elias smirked. Good. The galaxy could use a little more danger. Beyond her throne world, whispers spread. If the most feared monarch could laugh, what else might she learn?